which case I can let go of the ball. So I've got my sort of target down there, so I can just go ahead and have these little kind of rehearsals where I'm returning my palm to face down the fairway, and then we can sort of throw a ball. That one a little bit out to the right, so that probably wasn't as good as I could have done. Let's try that again and feel that rotation a little bit more. Slightly better. It's just going to give you a feel for what these hands and arms are doing. So now let's bring the golf club back in, and this is one of my favourite exercises. This is going to get you to sort of link that little skill that we've just given you and link that to impacts and ball flight. I've got a target down here, which is the post in the distance. And what I'd love you to do is try and find a delivery position. So delivery would be where the club shaft is fairly level on the ground. What I'd notice how the club face is slightly pointed down around. My lead wrist is almost perfectly flat there. So you notice how the club face is wrist a little bit. Points the club face will be down, don't mind that. But essentially this would be the delivery position. From here, what is going to square the club face? Well, we said another body turn, but how much you rotate this? So if I didn't rotate my forearm enough, club face would be open. If I rotated too much, club face would be closed. I want to do that and hit some golf balls. So we find delivery.
Okay.
We're rotated. At delivery, I've still got that rotation. So I'm going to feel like I hold that rotation and deliver a face, which is open. Now I thinned that a little bit, but you can see the ball went way out to the right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to find my delivery position, and I'm going to over-rotate the arm, and the ball goes off to the left. So I'm basically understanding the movement in my swing, which controls the face, and I'm exploring what those different movements are like and how they relate to impact and ball flight. I'm developing the key skill, which is going to help me hit straight shots. Now the third one, a little bit more difficult because you're going to want me to hit this one pretty straight. So let's have a little go. Let's put myself into delivery. Now I need the kind of right amount of rotation. I think you failed me on that one. That was left. Let's have one more go. It was straight the previous one, certainly not straight. Let's find delivery here. Left again. Okay, you get the idea. You might be better at it than me. The key message that I want to get across to you here is that straight shots are all about getting this club face back where you want it to be. Okay, how do you get the club face back to where you want it to be? What is the thing that does that? You. Please do not let anybody tell you that the body squares the club face, or let anybody tell you that if you arch your wrist, that will square the club face. Look what happens when I arch my wrist. It gets me closer. Okay, this is at 90 degrees open. When I arch my wrist, I get closer. Okay, so people might say, well, DJ keeps the face closed, he doesn't have to rotate his forearm. Wrong. Got the data. Okay, if you have an arched wrist and a closed face at the top, you have to have less forearm rotation, but you still need some. So the key message here is understand what is in your golf swing, which is controlling the face. Learn how to feel it in both hands, and then go ahead and hit some shots, exploring what those might be like. Okay, I'm actually a little better when I go full swing. I'm not so good at the half swing shots. But what you're going to see again in the data, look at that, forearm in the backswing, rotated this way, I transitioned, and then right through impact, what was my forearm doing? It was snapping, rotating like this. Although that feels like it wouldn't be consistent, that's the way we have to play golf. It's why the game is so difficult. You either practice that, or you have 60 yards, the longest shot you can ever hit, and at least you can pretty straight. The opportunity yesterday to help Jerry with his golf game, and specifically looking at the driver. He came to me kind of struggling a little bit, lacking in confidence, not hitting it as well as he'd like. We did some great things in that lesson. I really wanted to make this video and share it with you because there can be so many things that you can take through to your golf game. And we did kind of 4 really key stages, something at setup, something through impact, and then we finished up with something which I think is going to completely surprise you. It's so simple. It has such a big effect on his golf game, and anybody can do that. And it really helps him with these high draws with his driver, and they were going further as well. So let's get into what we did. The first thing I wanted to do with Jerry was to get him more comfortable over the ball. Now, you might resonate with this. You might be thinking, yeah, that sounds like me. I'm often over the ball. It just doesn't feel comfortable. I can't get myself set. This is the case with Jerry, and there was one reason why he was doing that, and I want to show you what that was.
Okay, I would like to see your hands a little bit more back. Okay.
generally what we tend to see with on average tour players, the hands with the driver actually tend to be slightly back of impact. Now, as soon as you get the hands a little forward, you know that what you do with the grip affects the face. It's more likely to push the face to the right. So if you have the hands a little forward, either the face is going to align all right, or for some golfers, they'll say things like, I just can't get the club to sit right, because the hands are forward and they're trying to twist it back and it kind of gets a bit uncomfortable. Most of the drivers these days are pretty good in terms of they sit very neutrally and pretty well. But obviously, if we were to push the handle forwards or move the handle back, it changes where the club points. So with the driver, if we don't have the club shaft nice and neutral, if we have it a little forward, the face tends to sit all open. Now, the majority of golfers wouldn't necessarily like to see that as open, so it's set up, they'll try and twist the club a little bit. And it's interesting, actually, if you just take your normal setup, so don't do anything different, just your normal setup.
Yeah, I'm already.
Okay, right, now I'm holding the golf club, you take your hands off, watch what happens to the club head. This is how it's kind of fallen back. Yeah. So what that tells me is that you're setting the club in a certain way, they're trying to change it a little bit with your hands, and it's just an element of consistency that we don't really want. So the first thing I wanted to do was really get good at aligning the golf club and having the club shaft nice and neutral. So try this little exercise. You're going to take the driver in your trail hand, and you're going to go through your technique. So I like to pick an intermediate target, so I'm going to be picking this divot here, and I'm just going to take my right hand and I'm just going to align the club face at that intermediate target, but just have the club sitting nicely on the ground. Now I'll straight away see whether handle being forwards, club is open, or handle being back, club is closed. So I want that club shaft nice and neutral, which allows the club to sit nice and neutral. Then I can build my stance around that. What we would generally tend to see with great drivers of the golf ball is they tend to have the hands nice and neutral, and if anything, they have the handle slightly back. The last thing we want is to have the hands forward, because that opens the club face, and then you are in a whole world of trouble because you're going to have to start twisting the club. It won't look right, and it'll look very, very different over the ball. So this was really key that we did this with Jerry. The next stage was to do some work on the lead arm. Now this is so important in his golf swing, in your golf swing, in my golf swing, everyone's golf swing. If you're struggling, what do you often see through the golf ball? We're looking at driving, we see these with irons. Well, you often see these elbows kind of separating, bending. It just looks a little bit cramped. So with Jerry's golf swing, his follow through, so target side of the ball, tended to be quite low and too much around his body.
But I'm going to put the vocals in. I was going to put the deal.
So as he went through the golf ball, his left arm was sort of bending this way, but it wasn't folding correctly. And that was tending to leave the face open, and it was tending to mean that he wasn't getting the maximum amount of speed into the golf ball. So I'm going to show you the drill that we did. Really, really simple. I'd love to go ahead and try this. Best done with this mid-iron, but you can see what we did here with Jerry. The majority of golfers, on the way through, the lead arm will bend, which is not necessarily a problem. It's the fact that there's no rotation there. Okay, so there's a big difference between an arm which is bending, this has got bend in it, versus an arm which is bending but also rotating. I've still got bend here, but I've got rotation. Okay, and when we do that, the club goes a lot further, but it also causes the club face to rotate and fold over. Okay, all of that. Okay, so what I saw there, which is kind of what tends to happen a lot, too much tension.
Yeah.
Okay, so softer. There we go. Good. Just give it a little turn. Better. Okay, better. Just letting that club head work. This way. Good.
Yeah.
So if you sort of mimic that movement now, look at the toe of the club. As you do that, it just wants to overtake. So it's a sort of squaring movement. It's something involved in squares. If this arm sort of
that's my life with this game, bro.
Number one, it hasn't got as much speed, but number
that's
two,
the life I live.
It doesn't tend to want to square up,
this fucking
in that direction.
simulation.
So just a little couple of swings of that, just take the.
It's what I deal with.
Good. Better. So on these practices, I love it to just be tucking in and
it's no fun.
just be trying to get as much softness as we can. Now, like I said, reality is at speed we'll do this.
It'll do that.
The idea of this right arm is to keep this sort of on the side. Better, much better. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're just going to go a little chip, maybe 20 to 30 yards. We're just going to sort of finish here. And all I want to do is be able to take that trail hand off and be in this sort of same position. I've got some rotation, my arm is close Put it down here. Love that. Love that. Really good. Wherever you finish, just hold. There we go. Perfect. Okay, take this hand off. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So quite sure. So taking that on a stage, I wanted to give Jerry a different sort of feel, something he could do away from the bay, something he could do where actually he's making some swings rather than just some movements that lead arm. You could go this way, you were damaging, make my damage walk this way. So if I was to demonstrate your golf swing, you can make it far worse than it is. Okay, probably can't make a back swing because it'll get in the way. You get down to here, but then on the way through, because
there we
you
go.
drag the club right into here. So if you were to stand with, you know, your feet probably some.
We work on this shot
and
all
the
day
field
today.
would be, you're almost trying to
80-yard shot. Let's see. I went outside, worked on it.
Get the club working all the way through without hitting the ball. There you go. And you'll feel how you're doing a lot more with your hands and arms. There you go. Yeah, it's a good feeling for it. Okay, just go a little slower on the back, but I'm just conscious of you hitting the. There you go, perfect. So on that drive that you linked out to the right,
look
you know,
at
we
it.
did see on follow through. We saw this sort of very much this sort of drag across here, where you were trying to sort of save it with your hands. So that you can't really do this at massively high speeds, but it gives you a little idea of trying to fold the arms up more with the body rotation. Okay. It's a good little exercise to sort of feel what that would be. No, I don't feel like. If I do nothing with my body and just fold my arms, the club goes upwards. Yeah. But my lead arm is folding. But as soon as that lead arm buckles, it wants to go this way. So I could just go ahead and almost, you know, get this feeling of get the club up this way with that lead arm folding. Right. Okay. There you go. Beautiful. We used that wall as a barrier, and we got him to make some swings where he wasn't making contact with the wall. So here's how you do that when you don't have that wall. You're going to take a starting position, and you can see that my bag is probably served 6 inches in front of my sort of toe. Now,
it's a senior event, and we got 243-yard par threes. You gotta love it, guys.
But this is great because in this stage of
240-yard par threes.
That's what I wanted to give Joey, the right feels that he could latch onto. So had we looked at Joey's golf swing to begin with, and he'd just made a normal swing, with his lead arm movement,
gonna have to use
could have hit that bag every single time. We gave him 10 swings, didn't hit it 10 times. Watch what happens if I don't do anything with my body, and I hold the top of my lead arm, like that little first exercise we did, and just let the club release through. Well, you'll see now that that club starts to go more up and over here, because my lead arm is starting to fold correctly. Now, at this stage, I obviously don't have any body turn, but it's really training my lead arm to fold and release correctly. So what I can do is I can actually place both hands on the golf club, make some little swings, and just rehearse, just like clip my head over there, these movements.
Oh my God.
And you can see how my release of my forearms is causing the club to go much more up and over that golf bag. Now, I'm not really using a huge amount of body turn. The reality is we would in a swing. But if you move around to the front on you, you'll see that when I do that, what does that do to my lead arm? Puts me in this perfect position. That first position that we were working on before we jumped outside. So if you see this in your golf swing, try that. Use that wall drill, even if you're on the golf course. Place your golf bag here, have some little swings, you can start to get that lead arm folding much better. So the last thing we did to Jerry, this is the thing that was the game.
Welcome to the game of Ryan Hundley. If Ryan Hundley has a birdie, you can bat your ass on the next hole where he's going to fucking wet the fucking bed. Welcome to my game.
All I wanted to do with Jerry was change.
I'd rather just have pars.
So let's see.
There's bad shit that comes up.
What happens to your release if we change the path? Okay. If you were to try and imagine you're going to hit that logo, right, that would sort of create a slightly more right path.
We're trying to make it.
Interested to see how you would get
the ball
to come back into the middle. Because I'm hoping to get the ball to come back, we'll do it through kind of folding his arm correctly. So if you're holding just your left hand only, the feel would be hitting that logo, which to you would feel as this ball's going to go way into the trees, but then letting the toe of the club really wrap over through that left arm. Right, okay. Just see if we can sort of change the release through a little bit of intent. That's it, there we go. Really get that club going high over your left shoulder. That was perfect. Straighter. That was perfect. Get that club finish at high, let the left
Oh
fold.
my god, dude. I swear, dude. I was supposed to hit it 4, I hit it 0.8 more, and it fucking bounces out the. That's what I'm saying.
Higher
Dude,
on the fold.
there is no fucking edges on this goddamn game for me.
It feels better, definitely.
Fucking hang this shit up. There's 0.8 more speed in this motherfucking bouncing out.
Good. Face slightly closed. Ball speed is up.
It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. But I didn't make this fucking game.
Different ways of changing a golf swing. If you
That's where I say that
a little bit more forward in the down.
The TGC to me is way better with their putting. I mean, it just,
well, you could just
it's more. This ain't realistic to me at all. I guess they're trying to make it harder or something, but there's nothing realistic about the putting.
So you've moved my head, but you never told me to. You just laid out this.
If I don't hit it dead center, perfect speed every time, it don't go
a little bit more out to the right.
That's not golf.
Not
every putt is perfect.
Yeah,
it goes in.
Change the way.
You can't do that if you try and swing out to the right.
Because by moving your path more out to the right, what we did is we gave you a right element.
Yeah.
Path right. So your golfing brain says, well, I better put in a left element, which is a bit more of this.
Yeah.
This release. So suddenly we got this sort of path right, better release, and suddenly we're getting sort of high draw. So good.
Oh, that just
that was actually higher in the face, which is a really good sign. That's probably the longest one. I mean, it's getting close, but it's probably technically the longest one. We focused on the golfing brain.
We got an angle.
So powerful. So think about that with your golf game. What type of shot is going to change your golf swing? So on the course, use your brain. It's incredibly powerful. Like Jerry, you might get some incredible results.
We're going to have to hit the 52 low. So we worked on these shots today also.
Listen, I'm going to share with you a recent experience I had with a student called Jeff. Jeff came to me really struggling with his driver. He was lacking confidence, not getting the ball as far as he'd like, and leaking them out to the right. So in this lesson, we managed to get Jeff to hit longer drives, and at the same time, actually tighten his dispersion, so he can hit it straighter as well. And I'm going to share with you, in this lesson, kind of what we did, and give the really, really simple steps that we went through with Jeff to get him to perform better with the driver. I know there's so many of you out there watching this who have the same issues. Now, before we get into this, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd love to go ahead and click that button. And please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and get down in the comment box and let me know what you saw. So the reason Jeff was struggling,
Putting.
Two main reasons. Number one, he had his club sort of cutting across the golf ball a little bit from out to in. That was giving him some curve and creating a little bit more of a glancing blow. And then when we look at contact, he was tending to, yes, he was hitting some at the middle of the driver. But some of his contacts are moving low in the face, down towards the toe, and we even got a couple off the bottom, which only went maybe 20, 30 yards. They were really costly on the golf course. So why was he doing that? Well, it was all to do with the shape of his swing and what he was doing to that. So when we swing, the golf club basically moves around your body on a big circle. And there's a lot of things that are contributing to
everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
Jeff's goal swing, and
Two
we got
birdies.
him down to around in the downswing. He was in some fantastic
Life of Ryan
He's done a lot of really, really good things. And
not a fun person to play as.
Sort of
I would not pick him if it was. If I had to pick this character, I would not pick myself.
And you can see we've illustrated that there. But all the way through, Jeff was kind of overpowering the golf club. He was making the golf club do something different to what it wanted to do. So he was actually moving his hips back away from the target. He was moving his elbows further apart, and you can see what that does to the movement of the club head. We've changed it and taken it off that kind of natural path, that natural movement that he wanted to have. And because of those movements, the club was cutting across the golf ball and it was affecting his strike. So the first little exercise that we gave Jeff was one of just really trying to feel like he was letting the golf club swing a little bit more freely around his body. He wasn't trying to pull it into his body. Now, you can see what we did on the screen with Jeff. I was kind of in front and gave him a little drill. You might not going to have somebody there with you, so this is how you can do it. Take your golf bag or anything that's relatively soft. You can see I've placed it there. Take your driver, hold it by the end here. And I'm going to take my setup. Now, what I'm going to try and do here is make some little backswings, so the club's obviously was feeling incredibly light. And the key, and this is where Jeff was making a big mistake, I want you to feel like you're pushing that grip as far away from the ball as you can have it. Notice how my elbows are really close. and you're getting this really extended position here. Now, very often, when we try and get the club to extend down the target line, we help that with our body. So we almost sort of move our body to try and do that. But that gives us this cramped position. So I almost want you to feel that there's opposing movements here. You're trying to get the grip end of the club as far away from your chest as you can. But at the same time, you're almost trying to push your head a little bit back away from the target. That gets you really extended. I'm going to move my bag a little bit further forward. So if I was trying to really get that grip to extend down to the target line, the last thing I want to do is follow it.
That's what I get fucking thinking.
What my arms are doing, really cramped. This would be a much, much better feeling. I'm going to try and hit that bag, squeeze the elbows, but notice what my head is doing. I'm actually sort of forcing my head a little bit back away. So we get this really nice position here, where the elbows are squeezed together. The club head is nice and wide, and look at where the end of that grip is relative to my chest.
I like big butts, and I get
Further
no
away from
line.
it. And when we looked at Jeff, we didn't see that. We saw his chest sort of turning this way, his elbows separating. That was changing the circle, the swing of that club.
They'll probably get me for copyright.
So this is your first exercise. Really like grip pressure.
They'll get me for copyright.
Let the club work back. A little bit of wrist set. Let it go through. And just start to deliver the club into whatever you've got in front of your golf ball. Obviously, in this case, it's the golf bag. And you can see how I'm starting to get this much more bottom shape, where the head is probably more sort of back of centre relative to my heels. And I'm starting to get this extended movement. Now, before we did anything, before we added any speed, that was the exercise that I wanted Jeff to go through, to really feel and sense that
73 yards, baby. I worked on this shot
today. Once you've done that a couple of times and you've got
worked on this shot hard.
Some good ideas of what that feels like. Turn the club around this way. Do the same thing here, but then just let the club go through that point to finish. So I'm going to go back, extend, and go through. And really starting to feel the natural movement of the golf club. Okay, remember, it's in a position here. It wants to go down, around, and up in this direction. Okay. What I don't want you to do.
Who's this guy hitting wedges close?
In any direction.
That damn happens. And I learned to put
use the weight of the club, sense the weight of the club, and that's going to be the first little exercise I want you to try. Next up, this is really important for your golfing. Really important.
This is really important for your golfing.
Learning how the clubs swing and the energy that you put into it can really give you some more consistent results. I'm going to do a little demonstration here. I'm going to hold the golf club just by 2 fingers. And this is really discussing energy and, more importantly, timing. Okay, this is to do with how your body moves through the golfing. I'm going to just hold it with 2 fingers. I'm going to set the club at horizontal and just let the club head drop and swing through. And it's got a natural swing. Similar to what we said before, we can almost predict from here where the club head is
going to go.
Dude. You'll notice that the club shaft on the target side doesn't reach horizontal. Okay, but this club is
I can just tell you, I fucking put like a fucking
now this time, I'm going to let the club swing, and as it's swinging, I'm going to take the grip end, and I'm going to pull it
what normally happens, then I don't play that much break, and then it fucking snaps on me.
It suddenly goes a little bit further. So what I did is I took a club which was swinging, and I added some energy into it. And the club goes further to the side. The more energy
tried to get out there.
The faster I pull up.
It was begging to get out there.
Goes to the side. That's how we put energy into the golf. Now, what about if I put that energy in, like time it wrong? So I'm going to let
Crazy.
Go,
I'd like to see these guys come put my machine. I shut up.
Well,
I promise
now,
you, I don't think they're going to put as good on my machine.
That club has now got less speed, even though I was trying to do the right thing. So that really highlights how we put energy into the golf swing and how important it is that we time it. But watch what happens if I hold on too tight with these fingers. I don't let the club swing. We can't get the energy into that club. So when Jeff was holding onto the club too tight, you may well be doing this. You might have too much pressure and tension through the hands and the arms. If the club isn't swinging, we can never get the energy. We can never boost that club head speed. We can never get that energy out into the club head. So what I wanted to do with Jeff is give him those ideas that we've gone through, and then support that swing of the club
give me some more
with a much better body movement. If I can get Jeff to extend up into that finish position, that's him putting energy into the grip causing more speed at the bottom. So I wanted to get Jeff moving through the golf ball better, but was one key thing that he was doing incorrectly, and he started in the backswing. If I wanted Jeff to move better this side through the golf ball, I had to get him moving better away from the golf ball. And what we saw with Jeff's backswing is that he wasn't turning his shoulders well enough. So he was making a lot of that backswing move with just his arms this way. So it's very difficult to make this nice aggressive move through the ball if we're not moving into the backswing well enough. So I wanted him to move better in the backswing, turn his shoulders more. Now I actually physically did this with Jeff. Right there, next side you can do. Take your setup, club goes into the belly button, rip down onto the club shaft that you can see there. And now all we need to do is make some little movements away. Little movements away. And straight away you're going to feel how your right hand, the club head and the shoulder are all connected. And my shoulder has to move
slider
to get that club to move. As soon as I do all the work with my hands and arms, the club comes away from my belly button. So this is a really, really simple way that you can do at home, in the office, at a driving range, on the golf course, just to feel and sense the shoulders doing some good work early on. Once my hands get outside of my right thigh, then I can start to use my arms and turn them to the top. But I'm now primed, ready to move my body all the way through. So then we came to the final sort of piece of the puzzle.
Of course, why
would
would it fucking break?
As we said,
Bring it
Jeff's
out
kicks
and
were
it ain't
going
gonna break. You
backwards
fucking put it
most of
in
the
and
time.
it'll fucking
So
snap.
finishing in
Shit.
what we call forward bend, where the chest points a little bit more down towards the ground. I gave Jeff
I can't put on this
that I wanted
fucking
him to
pain.
finish his golf swing with
Just
the
fucking
closest
pointless.
thing
Either I get it close to the circle,
So what
in
that
the
looked
circle,
like,
I'd
when it's
fucking
going
hang
to
it
look
up.
like this,
There's no hope for me
It
on this
looks
game, putting wise.
more like this, where he was extended with his belt buckle pushed out towards the target. And you'll see we did a little exercise where we put a bag down behind his heel, and that was a great reference point for him. So the final bit of instruction was swing, let the club go, and push the belt buckle out. Here. And what we had is three really important components. We had the club swing. He wasn't trying to overpower that. The club had its natural movement.
Fuck my
Once
golf
the club had
swing.
its natural movement,
My golf swing
we
can
gave
eat
it
a
a
fucking
better
dick.
backswing body turn. And then we supported that with a more aggressive turn all the way through. And suddenly, contacts started to become more out the centre.
I hate my golf swing with a fucking passion.
Straight strides towards the end of the lesson. So I really think there's going to be lots here to digest and take on board, and there might be lots of
It is what it is.
And you think, yeah, that sounds like me. I'm too tense or I'm
But
overpowering
let's
the
go
golf.
here,
So use these drills.
then fucking somehow do this, then somehow do this.
You'll probably hit
It's like, I mean, goddamn.
probably a little bit longer as well.
How do you do all that? Here, roll to there.
Not to watch a lesson that I recently gave to Jeff. Now, Jeff came to me struggling with the driver. He wasn't as consistent as he'd like to be, and he wasn't really hitting it as far as he'd like to do. He made some great changes. I want to share that with you today. So Jeff was really struggling with contact. Some of them, yes, were at the centre, but the stripes were tending to move a little bit down towards the toe, and sometimes catching off the bottom of the driver, giving him some really different results. So I'm going to share with you exactly what we did. And in this lesson, you can see how we actually made those changes and the process that we went through to get Jeff to ultimately
All the thing I do with golf is I just add
better.
shit, because I really don't even know how to fucking play.
We don't need to do anything from here. Right? I mean, is it perfect? No. But is it good enough for what you're trying to do? It is. I'll show you the goal swing. I certainly don't think it's particularly picked up. You'll see that the club moves away. The club is slightly outside your hands, which I like.
Ow, you
get
fucker!
into a position
You couldn't hit it!
where, I mean, it's really good. Okay. He's really nice.
I don't
There's a lot of things that are really, really good there. Your club path, which is the direction that the club is travelling in, is pretty straight. Right? It's largely out to me, which is why you said you play that little fade sometimes, which is fine. But it's not to the point where it's a concern and we need to tidy it up. You need to get that club swinging better.
Call me about 8.
Hey, make sure I'm online. Go to YouTube and see if this is recorded.
In the backswing, your arms do too much of the work. So your right arm is very bent because your shoulders haven't moved. Then what I want you to do is notice two things on the way through. Number one, the elbows tend to bend a little bit. So the distance between the elbows gets to be too great, elbows tend to bend a little bit more. Then I want you to pay attention to your left pocket, hip area.
Not enough.
And I want you to just watch where that hip
Pull
goes.
it out a little bit more, it won't break.
Right. Back away from the target. When we look at your back foot,
I mean, I'm not a fucking quitter, but Jesus, I don't fucking make putts. I mean, I've been doing fucking shit for fucking 3 years.
Separate the elbows, create more distance between
how you look at lines and you fucking
then that would tend to want to bring the club closer to us. So we're not going to
read greens. This is like reading
every time.
lines.
The chance of that happening.
Makes no sense to me. What's so
and then if I was to do this and rotate my body towards the target,
makes no sense.
But actually as I rotate my body, move my hips backwards, that's more likely to drag the club
it just drives me fucking even more crazy
around in this direction. You're not releasing the club head as efficient as I'd like to.
30 fucking putts on the
and as that's happening, the body's tending to sort of spin on this foot. And that's a movement which drags everything around this way. And when that happens, the arms separate, you're always risking that kind of low shot. So what we've got to try and do is try and get a little bit better turn in the backswing, and then actually on the way through, feel like we just let that club head actually swing a little bit more. Where's the balance point? It's down towards the club head. So if I was to completely relax my grip, have my arms a little bit bent, and hold the club as lightly as I could, and start to swing it around my body, that club, as it goes through, would actually pull my arm straight. So the momentum of the club is trying to straighten your arms. So if your arms are bending, you're kind of fighting what the club wants to do. You get to a point here, and that club wants to go down and up this way, and you fight that. You kind of drag it this way, and the arms come in, and you pull this way. Now, why does that happen? It's difficult to say. But confidence won't be a big one. You stand on a hole where, as we were saying earlier, you've got trees and maybe a bunker, and you get a little nervous, and you get to this point here, and your brain goes no, and you kind of pull the arms and you hold it.
Get it.
There's not enough swing of that club. So we've got to get the club swinging a bit better around your body, and then once we get the club swinging around your body, we've got to then support that with a slightly better body movement. So my right heel is right up against that bag. I should be able to swing.
I'm gonna fucking just start guessing like I did with like fucking Tiger Woods. Let's see if this will work.
As the hips are going backwards and the arms are. When you take a setup, the distance between your chest and the club head is pretty much as great as it can be. Okay, that club head can't really get any further away from your chest. But as soon as you make a backswing, then that distance narrows a bit. In the downswing, when that club head is as far away from your chest as it can be again, should be if you separate your elbows, this is kind of what's happening. So you're fighting against the fact that the club wants to do that. There's got to be a little bit of trust here, Jeff. Okay? Just
play outside, make 5, 6, 7 birdies in here.
And just do that a couple of times. No more speed, but just start to relax the grip.
For my life depends on it.
I ain't making going to be like as you start to almost feel like you stretch out to this point. Okay, hold it there. Okay, the head will stay back a little bit more, but that's great. Beautiful, good. That's it. Yeah, head down and back and just give it. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. There you go. We always say light grip pressure, light grip pressure, light grip pressure. If you start light and carry on light, the drive will go over the yards down the fairway. So you will start light, but then you'll be pretty tight to impact your hold onto the club. The key would be, and this is quite difficult, okay, try and feel like you grip it really tight with your fingers. Like really tight. To the right hand, both hands, please. Really tight with your fingers. Okay? That's tight, but your wrists can still be loose. There we go. So you're holding off fairly tight with your fingers, but your wrists are loose. What most people do is this pressure increases here, these lock. and that's an issue. Now what I want you to do is reach that extended point that we've spoken about. You're going to go through that point, but you're trying to almost visualise that. And at the finish, so if you go to that point for me, perfect, good. So you're going to go kind of through that point now. And as you finish, and relax, and relax, and relax, and relax, relax, I want you to feel at this point that the closest thing to the target is your belt buckle. And if you do that, you shouldn't hit that tray. Backswing. Excellent. So your heel lifted, but didn't spin. Set up, we are tilted over. Finish, you are the opposite. That's what it should feel like.
Well, it just, my swing don't like
Love
you
that.
sit. It ain't a fan of setting.
Backswing, we're going to keep it quite simple. I want you to feel like you turn your shoulders as much as you can.
241.
Throw the club head out as far as you can here. Belt buckle at the target. Okay, that's your three things. Big turn, throw the club, belt buckle at the target. Good, I like that. Didn't quite get enough behind it. That's fine, we've not really done a huge amount of work on that, that's fine.
Just get in there. Get in there so I ain't got to
Better.
stop. There we go. Yay! Yay! He fucking made a
If
birdie!
I had the club moving at, let's say, 15 to 20 miles an hour, and I relaxed...
Hey! Who's this guy? Birdie man! Yay!
That club is travelling...
How the hell do you make a birdie? I
Quick
don't
thing,
know,
quick
Bob. I got
Your
lucky.
club is travelling 90. It does not hit your shoulder. So, it finishes...
What a hole this is.
So, what's stopping
So we
that
gotta
club
have
hitting your
it.
shoulder?
I mean, bottom line, I could damn get there.
Because it wants to. It's got that speed and momentum. But again, it shows that there's a little bit of the
Way the
resistance to letting
swing
that
is
club
reacting.
do what it wants. Big a turn as you can. Really feel that you stretch that point and literally feel as if you're bouncing off your shoulder. Do without a ball to begin with. That's it. There you go. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay. Get this shoulder moving early. Okay. Big turn. That's it. There you go. That's better. That was closer. I like that. That was much better. Much better moving. That was. Much. That was a much better swing than the last two. And it wouldn't surprise me. And this goes back to what you were saying a little bit about maybe in previous lessons where you felt like you can do it here and on the course. It wouldn't surprise me if a little bit of that movement is because it's a hole and there's trees and there's a little bit of a history of some bad drives and it creeps in and there's a little bit of tension and trying to guide it down there
on that.
as opposed to actually just standing up and going, I'm just going to...
Pine straw. Right.
Yeah.
So, just here.
Now we're talking. Okay. Now that one was your longest drive by quite a bit. But that was significantly longer. We're not trying to, let's say if we can find you 10 yards somewhere, or find you 20 yards, or find you 30 yards. It's almost regaining those yards that you've lost.
Come on!
What I mean by that would be when you walk on the tee, and you tee your ball up, you're going to have a potential distance that you can hit it. Let's say it's 300 yards. Now let's say you need a 9-degree driver, and you've actually got a 10.5. So you've got the wrong driver. So that 300 is now 290. And then you don't let the club swing, so you hold on to it. It's now 270. Then you back up with the hips, you hit it off the toe, it's 250. So your potential is there, but there's certain things that you do in terms of maybe your equipment or your grip or that chop away at that sort of number. So for me, I'm looking at the distance.
No, you made a putt!
I know there's more in there. And the great thing with what I think you need to get forward is the more that you can start to do the things that we discussed,
Making putts,
I
really?
think you'll hit it more at the centre, straighter, and longer. Because if everything's connected, you know, and I think the things that you're doing, which is causing you to hit those bad shots, is probably robbing you of 20 to 30 yards on your good swings. Okay, feel the distance between this hand and this shoulder. Okay, feel like that distance stays the same. Yeah. Now it will start to kind of fold. Correct. So big wide backswing, let the club go.
Under.
Okay, I like that. That was good. Big turn, bounce it off the shoulder. that. Nice. Club to the shoulder. Yeah, I was going to say on the shoulder.
Woo!
Very good. Very good. Now, we all know timing is incredibly important. But if I was to hold the club just 2 fingers here on the grip and move the club up to horizontal, the club's
Make
got
Bob
a weight.
Chung sweat a little
So
bit. He thinks he's going to beat
it's
all
gonna
us
have a
old
natural
people.
swing. So if I'm
You can't let Bob Chung win every fucking
week.
week.
Go the other side of my hands.
Not every week.
Okay, it kind of goes.
He thinks we.
To there.
He
but
thinks
then I can do things to the club. So if I was to let it go, and as it gets to about here, I'm going to pull that grip straight up. What happens? It goes further. So I put more energy into it. But it started from a swing. Because if I didn't have the club swinging naturally, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't create the energy. And then you've got timing. So what we're saying is, if I let the club swing, add some energy to it, the club goes further. But if I let the club swing, add the energy, but add it at the wrong time, it actually saps energy out of it. So if I do it at the wrong time, that's going to
Come on, baby.
So all
Come on, baby.
So timing is so important.
We can't let this guy win every week.
Letting the club swing. So what I'm sort of saying with the driver is
like,
you've got to get
beat
the
all
club
these old
swinging
fucks
around your body freely.
Come on now.
So my arms are extended.
Not every week.
Once it's swinging freely,
Four back.
we can start to put some more energy into it, and
Make
we can
this
start
putt,
to,
make him get squirrely a little bit.
The kind of real benefit.
It's going to break hard.
That's it. You got it. That's the perfect. Biggest turn you can. Swing the club in.
Right here.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. There you go. Again, one of your longer ones. So on that one,
34.8.
Off on the ball more, which is generally beneficial with the driver, which meant that ball went further on a shot where you actually didn't swing as quick as some of the others. So on that particular shot, you swung slower, and the ball went further because you've got the attack angle up. So I would think going forwards, you might want to drop that loft back down, because at the moment, your club is travelling in a certain direction, this way. So to get the height, you've got 12 degrees loft. If we actually give you more of an upward hit, you don't need that extra loft, and I think then what you'll find is that it'll give you another couple of yards as well. Your body was
Come on,
this
go back
way.
the other way. Come
So
on, go back the other way. He had it red.
And we're trying to go this one, yeah. See, that's so
Three back.
So good.
Three backwards.
That's your longest one. That's your longest one. But 70-degree launch angle. Right. If you had made that swing,
can we come back?
Down a degree,
it's be monumental. Be a monumental comeback.
That's perfect. That's really, really good. Now, I mean, distance wasn't the thing that you said you wanted.
I like it white words there. I'm not even letting move.
But the things that we're doing to help you hit it better, we'll just give
monumental
you
comeback.
more distance, because it's all about swinging the club, letting it go.
Especially from a guy that can't fucking putt.
Correct. Correct. Because the way you were swinging it, 12 degrees was perfect. Yeah. But if you start to swing it up different, and you start to create the height through your swing, the loft doesn't need to be there. Wind it up, stay back, launch it. I mean, these are just great now. But you speed run up, which is good.
What?
Do you click the back there?
Are you fucking goddamn doing that?
That's fine.
Fuck! I mean, what's in you balls there every time I do that shit, man? No!
Very good.
I mean, I don't do that outside. That's why I don't understand why this shit happens in this fucking room. I don't think that thing can calculate some of the shit.
QI10 driver from TaylorMade. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at this lineup of drivers. We're going to dive into the technology, and we're going to look a little bit at the science behind these clubs. You're also going to see me getting fitted into my driver for this year at the Belfry TaylorMade Fitness Centre. We're going to finish the video by looking at these three drivers and how they're different from each other, which type of golfer might be suited to which head. Now, if you are considering putting one of these drivers in your bag for this year, I have got one big, huge piece of advice. I'm going to explain that.
Alright, let's see if this 60 can now do some work.
I'm a TaylorMade player.
See if this guy can do some work.
TaylorMade are one of my partners, so we're really going to be looking at a little bit more technology in the driver, a little bit more the science behind it. And if you're a golf geek like me and you love learning about golf clubs and how they work, then there's going to be some information here which is going to be really important. So the big thing this year that TaylorMade are shouting about is this 10K forgiveness, 10K MO.
Oh, fuck! Oh! Come on, man!
And that basically refers to the club's resistance to twisting.
Oh!
The golf club in your bag.
That would have tightened his little bitty self up.
Which is effectively the centre of gravity.
That would have been a
If
tighter.
you don't hit that sweet spot, so you could be above it, below it, toe, heel,
What a hole
the
this
club
is.
react, it will twist. The more it twists, the more you lose ball speed, you lose distance, and you start to create more offline shots. As you can increase the MOI, you basically increase the club's resistance to twisting. So a golf club which has got a higher MOI rating will give you higher ball speeds off centre shots, which will mean more distance, and it will give you straighter shots, meaning your dispersion comes in. So 10K in the MOI rating basically means this driver will outperform other drivers on your less than perfect swings. I don't know about you, but I kind of need that. So how have they done it? Well, I've done it in kind of three main ways. Number one, they've used lighter materials. I'm sure you know that TaylorMade have been using across the drivers the last couple of years, including.
Just make him tighten up a little more, folks.
This new one has got more carbon.
Tighten him up just a little more.
The second way they've done this is by head shape. And this QI10 Max is noticeably different. As you put it behind the ball, it looks completely different to the other two models, but it also looks completely different in terms of shape to the Sim and the Stealth and Stealth 2 models. That different shape enables them to move on to the third thing that they've done, which is putting weight in extreme positions. The more you can move weight away from the face of a driver, the more you stabilise it. So by using lighter materials, helps them save weight.
For Bob Chung, not me.
Allows them to put that weight
should be a makeable putt.
More, giving you more stability and achieving that MOI
21.1.
Okay. Of the three models, the
6.3
Max is the only driver that's got that 10K rating. So if it's forgiveness you're looking for, this is the one you want to try. But the other two, the QI10 and the QI10 LS, also have a higher MOI rating than previous models as well. So those drivers are going to perform much, much better.
I like big butts too.
Now the challenge for TaylorMade, and it's always been the challenge, is that as you make the driver more forgiving, you increase their MOI, you generally reduce ball speed. But in this QI10, TaylorMade have basically got the whole package. They've got that 10K rating in terms of MOI, yet maintaining incredibly high ball speeds off the club face. You've got distance, it's a tighter dispersion.
Three fucking holes.
So have a look at this video. This is a golf club which is struck 19mm to the toe. We're all going to do that, that's not that far. But just look at the difference in how the golf club reacts. That is visibly how the MOI is working with the QI10 Max driver. More stable, less twisting, that's going to give more ball speed, and it's going to give straighter drives. So that's the technology, that's the science, that's what it's meant to do. So let's go into a fitting scenario where I went to the Belfry, the TaylorMade Performance Centre, to meet Dan, TaylorMade, who is going to fit me into the new QI10 driver. This is the Stealth 2 head. Yeah, was a little, 16 is a little bit higher.
Come on,
so
get on down there.
I wouldn't say that was the club as such, just that individual shot.
43 yards.
It makes it a little bit harder.
Let's see, I gotta figure out how I use
to get you in a new product if you keep on hitting everyone like them first 3 or 4. Now, if we can get better than that, then we're on to a winner.
Center of the green.
You know, I've got to at least match, but I want to get more performance out of the new product than what you're doing there. I'm hoping to play the Masters this year. Top 50 in the world. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, maybe next year. We'll get in. We've got time. What I would normally do as a start point, because you're using the Plus model, I would usually start in the LS. But this year we want all golfers to try and experience that 10K story, and you know, see if we can get that performance in the new product with that extra layer of forgiveness. All 3 heads are more forgiving than anything we've done. If we're going to start with the math product, I think they have to take into account that even though we've got 9 degrees Stealth 2 Plus and a preliminary 1 click higher, right?
Oh, look at these fucking putts.
So, I wouldn't necessarily, as a start point, start you in the max 9 degree, 1 click higher, because the lie angle is different,
the CD location is slightly different. You know, the weighting and the way that's constructed is different. So I'm going to start it from scratch, as if you didn't bring that. Okay. I know you have, and we've got the numbers to reference, but I'm going to start it from scratch.
So what we got here?
So 9 degree.
That's the max head.
QI10 max. I'm going to leave it as the standard setting as a start point. So, you know, I don't want to put it one click high. Like
I don't think it's that much. I'm sitting there questioning my damn line here.
Lie angle into account, but also the hosel depth of this. This will actually play a little shorter than what your current driver is. Okay. So even though the shaft is exactly the same shaft that you've got, this will play at 45.5 inches, where your Stealth 2 Plus will play at 45 3/4.
Look at this guy! Let's go!
When you put
Come on!
will obviously look
give me a par 5.
different to what you're used to. Probably not.
Still in it. Trying to chase his ass down.
In your Stealth 2 Plus. In terms of the
shit, we got to make sure this guy understands. We ain't gonna just lay down.
Now it still measures at 460 because how it's measured.
Not gonna just lay down. Let's go.
But footprints of the driver actually look.
Yes, we can putt, but we'll figure this shit out. A nice hole here.
Class. The first two I would say you hit really well. Yeah. Visibly, they were launching a little bit higher and a little bit more spin. So I'm going to take this 9 degree and I'm going to start to take a little bit of loft off it, which will open up the base slightly for you, which I think may suit your eye a little bit. You know, not worrying about the left as much, all right? It's just launching and spinning that a little bit too high. Now, if I start to take a little bit of loft off it, obviously we may see a little bit more speed because of that, stronger in loft. And then if we can start to dial in launch and spin and we're getting more speed, that's when we're going to open up and unlock performance.
I think I'd get to like it, but it's not my preferred shot. That's visibly different, isn't it?
Pardon?
Visibly different.
Yeah.
Like,
I just didn't want to hit that damn car pad. That's what I just kept having it on my mind.
Oh, done.
Stop.
I'm having that one.
That was absolutely fun. Spin rate was right on the cusp of being too low. You would have had to launch it there. Now that's a very, very good start.
Here we go.
We're getting some good numbers here. Now I'm actually going to take a little bit more loft again.
This is pretty much the game right here.
A little bit there that was moving to the left.
Gotta hit a shot.
No.
Do I have what it takes? Find the fuck out right here. Do I have what it takes?
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see standard, 1 lower, 2 lower, 3 lower. And you can see the movement that gets it closer to its intended target. So that's clearly, we've seen the story, starting the start point, standing, tweaking the lock,
little
tweaking the face angle
uphill.
to suit your eye, but also your shot shape. Now, that will be tough to beat, I'll be honest, because
I'm gonna have to
we might increase a little bit of speed, with some of the others. What I'm not sure we are going to see is that dispersion.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't miss a shot there in that sense.
What's that loft now?
I don't want to worry you. This is taking you back to your late 90s.
I know, yeah.
Right, dynamically that's playing 7 degrees. All right.
But I guess for me, and I guess for anybody really going for a 50, it's irrelevant, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a number on the box.
Exactly. If you get the launch and the spin and it goes straight, you can write whatever.
It's the opposite. I
needed to draw a little bit more, but I was aiming at the center of the green, right where I'm aiming, hoping it would pull in, and it just didn't pull in. So now you just got to make a damn putt. Just got to make a putt. I pushed it there too.
This is the reason why. This is how you can swing the club.
So we got 32.2.
Now that's obviously a small amount of people, but I would say it doesn't matter what's on the club. It's how you deliver it in your performance.
Yeah, I mean that feels like you've given me 3 different golf clubs, which effectively you haven't. But it's the same head, same shaft. You just played around with lofts.
I'm conscious of, when people come for a fitting, don't pigeonhole one individual product within the brand. Probably all brands out there, because of the modern day golf clubs, you can make a club neutral, you can make it fade bias, you can make it draw bias, you can make it flatter, you can make it more upright. That's the beauty of the loft sleeve and having the wrenches to be able to guide the performance.
I needed to hit it 7.9. I had the line.
Taking spin off and gain ball speed and dispersion.
Hats off to Bob Chung unless I hit a hole in one. That's the only chance we got here.
That's going to be tough to beat.
Golf courses, if you ever design a golf course, why would you ever have a finishing par 3 hole?
talk about
To
that.
me, that's just
performance.
that
We
doesn't
probably
even
would
make
have just gone
sense.
straight into the plus head.
Yeah.
And if you hit it like you did last year, you probably would have gone with that. All right. So I'm going to take this head off,
in
make a
between
note of the
clothes
settings,
for me
and then
too.
look at the other heads, just so you can see the difference.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
The reason why you might come out with this is because your speed might be up in terms of your ball speed.
Okay.
Okay.
Same thing.
If you basically hit it perfect and your dispersion is good as the max in that position, because feedback really wanted that little bit more forgiveness in there, so that's certainly where the max is going to do that job. You know, this is basically it's a test. It is a first test between the two products, just to see how you perform with it.
I'm feeling like the max is going bolder with the buffers on.
Yeah,
And then this is like taking the buffers off now.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got that little
Not
bit of,
easy
you've got
damn shot,
hands on
to be
the other
honest
one
with
just for that little bit of extra protection.
Got another putt.
Testing that we've seen.
Again,
so
I'll show you the stats that they hit that
this is
180.
spinning less pound for
I
pound
needed to hit that at like
versus
170.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so that's something we need to watch, especially for you. You know, that spin dropping too much.
Yeah. It's not finding that one. Not finding that one. Might find that one. Might find that one.
But amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just exactly
Same
the head.
shot, it's different head, performance different. Yeah, see, it's not. That's just not getting in the bag. That's just literally just not going in. Now I could click that and change the setting to any point because I'd have to start getting that really draw bias based on what we're seeing there to get you anywhere near to what we were seeing in the max. All right,
100%.
so this is
Just the
what we call the core model, QI10. Okay. So if you take your starting punches of the LS model, this will spin a little more than the LS model. Sits a bit more upright on the sleeve as well, so that will probably suit you based on the performance of what we've seen in the max.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, that's the ball.
32 on that back.
I think it was
Not
the ball
bad.
had a crack in it.
Even on the front, that's kind of what getting me. Look at the putting
I
stats.
got 185.
29 putts.
I think you picked your tail.
I mean, that's where it kills you. You know, fairways
Like the look of that.
50%.
Says Chris.
I mean,
Greens regulation, 15 out of 18.
like
You can't
myself
complain
too.
about that.
but
Average
that
drive
head for
285.77. You did on that.
Use it, so
Gotta get better. All right,
good.
Bob Chung.
My heel one,
Congratulations, buddy. You are now again another
That's generally my bad strike,
winner.
and you go straight. I'm happy with that, really.
Maybe one day I'll learn to putt.
And last three shots,
Check it
it's
out.
gone up a little bit.